You're listening to the Podcast Detroit Network. Visit www.podcastdetroit.com for more information.
In this episode of the Motor City Hypnotist Podcast, we're going to talk about and discuss famous people who have used hypnosis. Again, this list is amazing. A lot of successful, well-known people that most everyone that listens is going to know them who have used hypnosis. And as usual, I'm also going to be giving the listeners a free hypnosis guide. Stay tuned.
I'm very important. I have many leather-bound books, and my apartment smells of rich mahogany.
Get ready for the Motor City Hypnotist, David R. Wright, originating from the suburbs of Detroit, Michigan. He has hypnotized thousands of people from all over the United States. David R. Wright has been featured on news outlets all across the country and is the clinical director of an outpatient mental health and hypnosis clinic located just south of Detroit, where he helps people daily using the power of hypnosis. Welcome, the Motor City Hypnotist, David R. Wright.
What is going on, people? It is David Wright, the Motor City Hypnotist. We are back with another episode of the Motor City Hypnotist Podcast.
Rock on.
We are. We're here in the Podcast Detroit Northville studios.
Thanks for being here.
Matt Fox is in the booth with me as usual.
Pushing your buttons. I'm sorry, pushing buttons in here. Yes.
What?
Oh, good for you.
So let me tell you where you can find me. My website, motorcityhypnotist.com. My social media links on Facebook and YouTube, Motor City Hypnotist. And just a quick mention on YouTube, most of the episodes, the podcast episodes that we do, I also record for video. Unfortunately, a couple, 3, 4, 5 episodes back, I forgot to turn the camera on. So, but most of them are there. So yeah, if you want to watch the video of the show, look for it on YouTube. It's usually posted shortly after the audio is published.
We have a Kendra Wright that just popped in and said,
"Oh,
hey.
Kendra, that's my wife."
Hey, hi, wife.
Oh, wait, let me get a good sound for her if she's listening.
What in blazes are you talking about?
There you go.
Thanks for chiming in.
And happy birthday to my wife, one day late. I mean, I told her yesterday.
Well, good.
But on air.
Good.
I'm just letting her know now.
All right,
yeah,
good.
Awesome. So yeah, Facebook, YouTube, my Twitter is Motor City Hypno, and also Instagram, Motor City Hypno. You can also find me on Patreon. Patreon is a site for creators to post their creations, and listeners and fans can contribute financially. So any contribution you can make, I would greatly appreciate it. If you do even the first tier, you will get a T-shirt just like the one I'm wearing now. Of course, those of you on audio cannot see it.
Yeah,
but,
they're looking at me right now,
on
unfortunately.
Facebook Live or on YouTube after the fact. You can see the shirt and also the coffee mug, which would be great, not just for coffee, but
yeah, are you sure is there coffee in there right now?
Actually, right now it's empty, but if those of you can't see the studio, there's a whole liquor cart over here in the corner.
You just eyeballed that.
This, I did eyeball.
I think you undressed it with your eyes too.
The fuck are
yeah,
you
it's crazy.
doing?
Sorry.
It's crazy, yeah. And so, yeah, check out Patreon. That would be great. Also, every episode, I give away a free hypnosis guide, and you can find the link to that in the show notes. And the most important thing is wherever you're listening, again, whether it be iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, please subscribe and leave a review, because that really helps me and helps us with exposure for the show in a good way. And it just helps us get out there. And, we're looking to grow the channel and get more subscribers. So if you could do that, that would be fantastic as well.
Thank you.
All right. This episode of the Motor City Hypnotist Podcast is brought to you by Banner Season. Online marketing is saturated and people rarely open their emails. Are you in sales, or does your business market to customers? How do you connect with family, friends, and clients? Banner Season takes your marketing into the real world by delivering kindness and thoughtfulness directly to your clients physically. Imagine the excitement of your family, friends, and customers as they receive personalized cards and gifts in their mailboxes. Go to bannerseason.com/fantastic and begin today to express kindness and make connections with others. Again, that's bannerseason.com/fantastic. And of course, as usual, I give my disclaimer. I am an affiliate for that site and that program. It doesn't cost you any more, but I do get a little bit. So just to be open and honest about that. It is time for our winner of the week.
That's how winning is done.
Alrighty, winner of the week time.
All
One
right.
of our favorite things. We love this segment.
Yes.
This comes from Des Moines, Iowa, and dated within the last week, so very, very recently.
Cool.
A paralyzed man whose home was damaged by the recent derecho. I don't know if that was a storm or what it was. Sounds like a net. I probably should have looked that up, but it sounds like it was a storm of some type. Is feeling blessed after an entire football team came to remove the fallen trees in his yard.
Wow.
Ray Drake has been paralyzed since 1989 and is cared for by his two sisters. When the storm wreaked havoc in his Des Moines home, he knew he was going to need help. His sisters reached out to one of his old high school friends for a chainsaw. So the sisters just called, one of his old high school buddies, say, hey, can we borrow a chainsaw?
Right.
And he showed up with the entire high school football team.
Wow.
I saw some of the pictures and thought, you need more than just one chainsaw, Janice, said Ray's friend, Doug Applegate. In just 2 hours, 30 members of the Roosevelt Rough Riders cut and moved all the downed trees away from Ray's home. Wow. Tears flowed as Ray and his sisters thanked the team. Ray said, I'm blessed. I'm blessed. Yeah.
I love that.
That's the story.
I love that.
The whole football team came over and cleared his yard of all the damaged trees that were falling down. And
They couldn't practice, so they might as well do
sure.
something.
But they did something positive. That's
Exactly.
the great thing.
Exactly.
So that is why the Roosevelt Rough Riders football team from Des Moines, Iowa, are our winners of the week.
That's how winning is done.
We have winners everywhere, and I'm
really do.
bringing them to you every time.
I'm looking at one right now. Just saying.
Oh, that's nice.
Da-da-da-da like this in the background. What the fuck is it with you?
Thank you, Matt. I appreciate that.
So, back to it.
So our topic today, I thought I tend to throw in some fun stuff every here and there, just because people like fun stuff. We've done some movie countdowns, which are always fun. I'm going to put together another one. I might just do something selfish and say like my favorite 10 movies or something. Yeah.
We want our folks to understand and get to know their hosts.
Exactly. And that's one of the great things about a podcast, because and I'll give you some inside information here, listeners. People, there are thousands, if not millions, of podcasts out there, and
Right.
You're not going to. How do I put this? You're not going to be successful with 2 podcasts, because you want people to get to know me. I want people to get to know me over a course of time, so that you can kind of get to know me. I'd love to get to know you, so you can hit me up on social media. Let me know what you're doing, what you're thinking, ideas for shows if you want to throw those in. But that's the whole point. This is a great way to build relationships with you. Pipe in and let me know what you want. I can give you I'll even give you a shout out, like
I don't know what we're yelling about!
that's always one of our favorites. Or if you think
Boring.
that's okay too, let me know. That's fantastic. So we're talking about famous people today who have used hypnosis. A couple of podcasts ago, we talked about hypnosis for sports performance, and we hit on quite a few famous athletes who've used hypnosis.
Right.
But we're expanding that umbrella today. We're going to talk about any famous person who has used hypnosis. And there might be some overlap, because we do have some athletes in this list as well.
Sure.
I'm going to start with them in case we have overlap. That way we're not repeating too much.
Okay.
Okay, first one is Steve Hooker of Australia. Unfortunate name. But his name is Steve Hooker.
What happened?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's what but the C is silent, see.
He's from Australia. He won the 2008 gold medal in pole vaulting after his hypnotist helped him to visualize his success. So again, an athlete. He wasn't on our prior athletes list, but a little bit more obscure. Felix Baumgartner became the first person to reach supersonic speed without traveling in a jet or spacecraft after hopping out of a capsule that had reached an altitude of 128,000 feet above the Earth in 2012.
That's the guy that jumped.
Yep, from the space capsule or from orbit.
Yeah. Well, I watched that. That whole thing, I was just enthralled.
Oh, I know. It was just fascinating to see somebody that, I mean, again, got a guy to wear a spacesuit. There was no air.
Just the way he fell and it was awesome.
Yeah, it was that was fun.
So I could understand why he would want to do hypnosis, because for me, it'd scare the crap out of me. But
let's do a side tangent.
Okay,
I've been skydiving.
Really?
Yes.
You have been?
I have been.
Okay.
Yes. It was. It was in my mid-20s, I believe.
Okay.
I don't know if I knew my wife at that point or not, but I was probably in my mid-20s. So my dad and we went together out to Tecumseh.
Okay.
And you do 2 days of classes, and on the third day,
you jump.
And this wasn't a tandem. I wasn't attached to anyone.
Really?
Right. So you go through this 2 days of practice and training and going through all the things just in case something goes wrong.
Right. It's the what ifs that you go through.
Well, sure. Reserve chute if your chute gets tangled.
Gotcha.
Great, crazy things like that. And I'm sure you can imagine the feeling.
Oh, great Odin's raven.
Right.
So you go up into the small passenger plane, probably like a Cessna or something, and you got 3 people and the flight master crammed in the back with your knees up to your chin.
Right.
So the plane takes off, circles back to come back over this big field they have for the skydive place. And they tell you, if you go up in the plane, you're going out.
Right.
There's no saying no. You're not flying back down with the plane.
Right.
They make it very clear. But I've never been so scared and so excited in my entire life.
Right.
But when you scoot to that edge and then you step out on this strut that's over the plane wheel, and you'd hang on to the it was a platform over the wheel, and then you hang on to the strut that attaches the plane to the wing.
Yeah.
And you just let your feet off, and then you just have to let go, and then you just. But again, never been so terrified or excited in my entire life at the same time. It's crazy.
Someone would have to hypnotize me just to make me walk out at that point.
Yeah, I mean, to say it's nerve-wracking is an understatement, I think.
Right.
Coffee makes me a mite nervous when I drink it.
Yeah.
Sorry for the tangent, but
but I'm thinking about that guy jumping out
from orbit.
Yes, from orbit, which is nothing compared to my 5,000 jump out of a plane. Yeah,
still you jumped.
Right. So let's move on with our list. 2008, the only 2 skeet shooters who won gold medals for the United States worked with a hypnotherapist. This may have come up in our sports-related one as well. This is another, actually the next 2 we talked about in our sports performance podcast. Mary Lou Retton used hypnosis, and the Chicago White Sox of '83 had a hypnotist, full-time hypnotist with the team all year.
That wasn't the first time it had been done, but it was they did get to the playoffs
as a team. Yes. They did get to the playoffs, and it was not just individual players, but the whole team took advantage of it.
Right.
In 1967, the Swiss ski team used a hypnotherapist, and 3 of the members won medals.
Wow.
Now, I know with these sports things, I made this disclaimer before. Maybe they would have won it anyway.
True.
Wait a minute. This could be some kind of scam, or possibly scamola.
Okay, we hit on Tiger Woods, another very famous athlete who's used hypnosis. We also hit on Jimmy Connors, famous tennis pro, but he used techniques to practice prior to his U.S. Open championships. Kevin McBride is an Irish heavyweight boxing champion who would be hypnotized before every fight to get in the right frame of mind to fight.
Okay.
Somebody I don't think we mentioned in our sports podcast is Jack Nicklaus, another famous golfer.
We did not.
Who uses hypnotherapy and visualization techniques and credits that for his sole reason for his success in golf. So let's talk about, we mentioned, and we did have a podcast a while back regarding hypnosis for weight management or weight loss. Mm-hmm. The following people have used it for that purpose. And the first one was a little bit odd to me because I think, why would he need it? But Orlando Bloom.
Yeah, why would Legolas need that?
Well, apparently he had a chocolate addiction growing up as a kid.
Okay.
And his mother called in a hypnotist to help him to get rid of that.
I'm sorry. You don't take chocolate away from a child. You don't.
It didn't. And the story didn't say exactly how old he was.
Can I try it really quick?
No chocolate. No. You're done. I mean, and I'm a hypnotist. I know it will work, but I'm thinking also, boy, that's a strong one to get rid of, the craving for chocolate.
What was that addiction like, you know?
Well, I would give maybe a suggestion like,
it's quite pungent. Stings the nostrils.
That may help.
All right.
That may help. So other celebrities who've used hypnosis as part of a weight loss program, Fergie,
okay,
lead singer of Black Eyed Peas. Mm-hmm. She said she keeps a hypnotherapist on speed dial when she's touring, especially.
Okay.
And that comes from Marie Claire magazine. So probably a very credible source, I would think. Mm-hmm. Singer, I'm not sure of who this is, but Lily Allen.
Lily Allen. Oh, shoot. I should know that.
I should have wrote down the reference, but it doesn't sound current to me. So, but she used hypnosis for weight loss.
Huh. Interesting.
We'll come back to her.
Yeah.
Sarah Ferguson, Duchess of York.
Okay, I can see that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Model Sophie Dahl used hypnosis to lose weight.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
This one people should know, Jerry Halliwell, who it was in the Spice Girls.
Yes, she was. She redheaded.
Mm-hmm.
She was a ginger.
Yes. And she used hypnosis for weight loss.
Okay.
And this one, it's not a weird one, but it's a man, Chuck Clausen, who was the former coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, used hypnosis for weight loss.
Okay. Lily Allen, for you real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Lily Rose Beatrice Cooper is actually an English singer-songwriter and an author, daughter of actor Keith Allen and film producer Allison Owen. She's had a number of albums, 2006 through 2009.
Oh.
So if you know of Lily Allen.
So she's fairly recent.
Yes.
Yeah,
born May 2nd of 1985.
Huh. Okay. Well, I know who she is. I probably not listened to any of her music that I know of.
Hey, that's a catchy tune.
So the following celebrities have used hypnosis to overcome fear of public speaking or stuttering.
Oh, I love this. Okay.
So again, I go back. We mentioned this, a few podcasts ago. We mentioned helping with, when we were talking about our top movies from King's Speech.
Exactly.
And we talked about using hypnosis for stuttering.
Yep.
Yes. And I didn't know this, but Bruce Willis.
Really?
Yes.
That's surprising.
Yep. Let me see what the statement says here. Bruce Willis has had stuttering problems throughout his youth and was always scared it would affect his acting career. So again, as a kid, probably not as an adult.
Gotcha. Okay.
So he probably got over it.
That makes sense.
This one I did not know either. Julia Roberts.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Roberts became the highest paid actress in the world back in, or maybe she currently is. Anyway, she's a top earner. She admitted the fact that she stuttered when she was younger, but she now speaks fluidly and is a respected actress.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Some of you young kids will not have any idea who this is. I happen to because I'm old. Mel Tillis.
Okay, I'm not
old country singer.
See, I'm not that young, but I'm not that old. But
he was born August 8th, 1932. He's an American country music singer and songwriter. Very big in the 60s, 70s eras.
Is that country?
Yeah, okay. Grand Ole Opry. Did a lot of things there.
Gotcha.
He had a band, the Stateside Mel Tillis and the Stateside. But he developed a stutter during his childhood after having a bout of malaria and used a hypnotist to get rid of it. And again, he was a singer-songwriter, so at some point he got over it and didn't have an issue with it. So for kind of like career success or to people who used hypnosis to advance their careers and their performance, and this name came up in a podcast from the past, Sigmund Freud, of course.
Right.
He started to develop hypnosis and gave it up fairly quickly and early in his career. Mm-hmm. And we went into great detail on that in a podcast way back when. Take a look at that one. I'll think about which one it was. And Carl Jung, another famous psychotherapist, both learned about hypnosis and used it to develop themselves in their careers. Mozart.
Okay.
Yep. He apparently composed the famous opera Così fan tutti while he was hypnotized.
Really? Mm-hmm. Was that more of an experiment almost? Or
that's a great question.
It kind of sounds like
or if he just used it because he wanted to be more, what's the word? More
overture-ish?
Something, yeah. Or more open or more... Yeah. There's a word I'm looking for. It's gone.
Yeah,
so
sorry.
No, it's okay.
What happened?
I don't know. Albert Einstein.
Okay.
Of course, famous physicist. He was known to go into trance through self-hypnosis every afternoon. His theory of relativity came to him during one of these sessions.
Okay.
Yeah. He also used trance states to develop his ideas. Lord Alfred Tennyson.
Got it.
Poet.
Very much so.
Mm-hmm. He wrote complete poems while hypnotized.
You know, they're so focused on what they're doing. That's where the hypnosis, I think, really does help, because it centers their brain into exactly what they want to do.
And I think, too, it gets you into and this is another theory of creativity, that if your brain is relaxed, things just come to you more naturally and more easily. If any of you who are writers, and I'm by no means a writer, but I have written things and have aspired to publish a book,
okay.
which I'm in the midst of working on, actually.
Wow. Okay.
But when you try, it's almost like when you try to do it, when you really kind of like struggle with it, it's just nothing is there. But if you just relax and just let it happen, that's when good ideas come up.
Right. Yeah. Pen to paper, putting your brain to a piece of paper is very difficult to do. It goes back to the whole theory of brainstorming. Brainstorming is an activity where you just have random thoughts and write them down. Mm-hmm. Honestly, that theory, I'll go off on a tangent a little bit. Yep. That theory goes back to Freud's version of psychoanalysis. Because the way psychoanalysis works is the therapist never talks to you. They sit behind you as you lie on a couch, and you just talk. It's stream of consciousness. You just talk and say whatever comes to your mind. The therapist writes everything down and looks for these mental connections, or these connections to things you've said to make patterns and figure out what's going on. Okay.
Very time consuming, which is why it's not done. It's not really, I don't know anyone who would do psychoanalysis today, strictly psychoanalysis, because it takes years to do a full analysis on someone.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. We'll get into that at some point. Maybe we'll revisit Freud on an episode later.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah. Aldous Huxley, who was an English writer and philosopher. He wrote nearly 50 books and novels, and he used hypnosis as a trance-like state to explore the nature of consciousness.
Interesting.
In a way, it almost sounds like, people who take drugs to expand their minds and get creative.
The psychedelics, from the 60s and what have you.
Pretty cool, I guess.
Yeah, right?
Sergei Rachmaninoff was a composer. There was a negative reaction to his 1897 premiere of his first symphony, and he stopped composing for 3 years because of the criticism.
I didn't know that.
Yep. What restored his confidence was that he saw a Dr. Dahl who hypnotized him to begin to write again, to begin to compose again.
Wow.
And then he wrote what's considered, and I'm no classical music buff, but his Piano Concerto No. 2, which is much loved.
Yes, it is. Mm-hmm. I was just listening to that this past week, as a matter of fact.
For real?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I thought Matt was kind of BSing me.
Nope. I actually was listening to it.
Oh, good for you.
No, that's great.
It's a wonderful piece of music.
Fantastic. Okay. The following people quit smoking with hypnosis.
I'm one of them.
Yep. Chelsea Handler, guitarist Mark Knopfler, Matt Damon, Drew Barrymore, Ellen DeGeneres, Ben Affleck, Ashton Kutcher, Ewan McGregor, Adele, and Charlize Theron.
Wow.
Those are the ones that I could find.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are more.
I'm sure there are.
But those are some of the biggest names on the list as far as just quitting smoking with hypnosis.
Yeah, self-hypnosis for me. When I quit smoking, it was more of a self-hypnosis thing. I did the same thing. I kind of retrained my brain, but kind of put myself into a mental state in the car, because that's the hardest time to quit smoking is when you're in the car.
And when I do hypnosis for smoking cessation, we always talk about triggers. There are certain behaviors that trigger smoking. Coffee, meals, driving, being on the phone, being on the computer. And these things, they're connected, and that's why we have to break that connection.
Wow.
The following celebrities have used hypnosis for personal improvement. Martha Stewart, she went through hypnosis to get rid of recurring nightmares. Sylvester Stallone, which I did not know. I just found that. He worked with famous hypnotherapist Gil Boyne while filming Rocky in '75.
Wow.
Gil Boyne is a huge name in hypnosis. He is like the modern father of hypnosis in the last 50 years.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. Gil Boyne's book on stage hypnosis is still revered by hypnotists. Hollywood actor Aaron Eckhart.
Two-Face.
To give up smoking and alcohol.
Yeah. Played Two-Face in the Batman movie. Kevin
Costner used a hypnotist to get over seasickness.
Was that during the Waterworld
That's
fiasco?
what I was thinking. Was it during the Waterworld? Jackie Kennedy Onassis used hypnotherapy to relieve and let go of tragic events, which, of course, tragic events she had.
Yes.
Winston Churchill used hypnotic suggestions to get him through World War II. And Reese Witherspoon used hypnosis to overcome personal insecurities. According to the Cambridge Times website, she said she went through years of being told she was too fat and short to be in Hollywood.
That's craziness.
I know.
That's absolute craziness.
And so she turned to hypnosis for a confidence boost and then took on one of her first roles and just went on from there.
Good for her.
So these are people, those are all the famous people who've used hypnosis. Do you know there are famous people who actually are hypnotists or hypnotherapists?
Really?
Yeah.
I'm looking at one right now.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Well, I'm not as famous as the first person on the list, Florence Henderson.
Really?
Yeah. The Brady Bunch mom is a hypnotherapist. She married a hypnotherapist, John Kappas, and went to school at the Hypnosis Motivation Institute, where she became a certified hypnotherapist.
Wow.
Yep. Helen Reddy is a Grammy Award winner.
Yes, she is.
Who is also a hypnotist.
Wow.
Or hypnotherapist. Scott Adams, which you won't know him by name, but he created the Dilbert comic strip.
Wow, okay. I said the name rang a huge bell, but then thank you for piecing that together.
Yep, he is a hypnotist. Joe Vitale, who I didn't know the name right out front, but he was a star in the movie The Secret, and author of the #1 bestseller, The Attractor Factor, and Life's Missing Instruction Manual. He's a licensed or certified hypnotherapist.
That's awesome.
And then, I'm a little bit biased on this one because I know this one.
Okay.
Catherine Hickland. I don't know if you know that name.
I don't know that name. Help me understand.
She was a guest star on the original Knight Rider for a season or two.
Really?
She played David Hasselhoff's girlfriend on the series.
Really? In the first season?
I don't know which season.
Right.
She played Stevie Mason, who was engaged to Michael Knight.
Now I have to go back and watch Knight Rider. Darn.
And her biggest role was in One Life to Live. She was on One Life to Live for numerous seasons as Lindsay Rappaport.
Oh, okay. I see that. I remember that character. I just can't remember her face.
Right. And she also had guest appearances in Chips, Airwolf, Law and Order Criminal Intent. She's also appeared on Broadway. So now the interesting thing is I actually had been to her home in Las Vegas. We went for a training.
Okay.
And her husband is Todd Fisher, Carrie Fisher's brother.
Got it.
And Debbie Reynolds' son.
Right.
And I happened to visit their home maybe about a month after they had passed. So I passed my condolences along. But we won't end on that sad note. But the biggest thing that she had at her house.
What was that?
Kit is in her garage.
No
way.
Car.
One of the original kits that they used for the TV series is in her garage.
Man.
I have photos of it. Of myself in kit.
I would like to see those photos.
Yes, I will share those. In fact, for those of you listening, I may post those on my social media. Well, actually, you probably see them on my social media at some point. Yep. It was one of the original ones. She still takes it for appearances for people who want, for car shows and things like that.
I got to share this with you, David. When I'm walking out of the grocery store and I've got a huge cart of groceries, I look at my watch and I say, Kit, come and get me. Because it's a pain in the ass. I'm just saying.
It is. It is. So I know we're running way close on time here, so I'm just going to run a couple more celebrities who used hypnosis for childbirth. Jessica Alba, Gisele Bundchen, Kate Middleton, Emily Deschanel. They used it for childbirth. So those are the famous people, and I hate to wrap up quickly here, folks, but I know we're close to being out of time.
Take your time, David.
Those are the famous people who have used hypnosis.
Now, did they use
and a few who are hypnotists.
Did they use the hypnosis for the pain piece of it? Or
yes.
Okay.
I've actually worked with clients to do hypnobirthing, which is to be able to give it without an epidural, without any pain medication,
right,
and to do it naturally. But so that they would, because most women will tell you that, and my wife is one of them, because she had 20, I'm going to get it wrong, she'll correct me later, I'm sure, 26 hours of labor.
Ouch. Wow.
She was induced, and it took a long time, and she was, I know mentally, she was tuned out, in and out of awareness during most of it. So she has no memories of a lot of it. And most women want to have that connection to remember the whole thing. Right.
When the inducement in labor, that Pitocin, when it starts to drip, the doctor will regulate it and he'll increase it.
Yep.
As time goes on to make it happen.
And it's making your body do something that it's not ready to do.
Right.
Which is give birth, because it didn't happen naturally. But a lot of women use it because they want to be aware, and they want to be calm, and they don't want to be focused on the pain. They want to be focused on the experience of giving birth and remembering all of that.
That's amazing.
So yeah, that is our list of famous people who have used hypnosis, and a few who are hypnotists. So our next episode, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed. My guest is I've reached out. The guest should be. Well, we're gonna confirm this soon.
Okay.
The next episode, hypnosis and tequila.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yep.
What?
The fuck are you doing?
Our next episode is called Hypnosis and Tequila, and you'll have to tune in to find out what that's all about.
Game. I'll be here.
You're on. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining me. Come back for that next episode. It'll be very interesting. I guarantee it. Change your thinking. Change your life. Laugh hard, run fast, be kind. I'll see you next time.